The Wounded Warrior Project has been there for so many vets, and for all the different vets, the Wounded Warrior Project means something different. For Angie, the Wounded Warrior Project helped her beat her battle with suicide.
My name is Angie, and I'm a U.S. Army combat veteran, and I fought the battle of suicide, and I won, and I'm a survivor. The rate of suicides within the military and veterans, it's a hard pill to swallow, and I know what it feels like to be that low. I didn't talk about it because I was, it's taboo. It's like, what are people going to think, and I'm weak and all that, but then with Wounded Warrior Project, I got to a point of like, no, I'm going to turn this around. This, what I thought weakness, has now become a strength that I can turn around and help empower other veterans to keep going. We can't keep losing each other. We survived the battlefield, and we're here for a reason, and we can't lose sight of that.
There's all kinds of things that can push a vet over the edge and contemplate suicide. Sometimes it's simple things such as just being able to pay the bills, being able to take care of the family, pay the mortgage, buy food. Those things were a major issue for Phil, but Wounded Warrior Project was there for him.
When I finally got the increase in my benefits, it was life-changing because it allowed me to concentrate on myself. It allowed me to concentrate on my family. It just allowed me to focus on my recovery. I'm able to put 100% of my time into fixing myself, into healing, becoming a better person. Wounded Warrior Project helped me with that.
Time after time, you'll hear vets talk about how they just needed support. They needed someone to listen. And Wounded Warrior Project is there for them. They have different programs that bring vets together with both professionals that can give them the support. And once they start doing better, they get them together with other vets that can support each other.
My name is Bill Thomas. I served in the U.S. Air Force, retired after 20 years. The transition from military life to civilian life was bittersweet. Things weren't right with me. Loud sounds would scare me. People too close to me would give me anxiety. I rationalized in my mind that the best thing for me was peace. And the only way I thought I could obtain that peace was by taking my own life. After my first engagement with Wounded Warrior Project, I got a sense that I belonged. I got the support that I needed. PTSD is still there. I manage it. I am not so isolated as I used to be. But I'm in a much better place now.
In talking with vets, many times I've heard them say to me, I don't know where I belong anymore since they came out of the military. And again, Wounded Warrior Project helps vets assimilate back into society. And that sometimes is all they need to get right with themselves.
Being an Army Ranger is a very fast-paced lifestyle. I was clearing a weapons cache in Haditha, Iraq, when the building collapsed on me, burying me alive. I spent 6 months in the hospital and a year of recovery. When I was separated from the military, I just felt like I was useless because I only had this one thing that I was supposed to do, and then that one thing was taken away from me. But then one day, I got a call from Wounded Warrior Project. They asked me to come to a workout, and I decided that I was going to get better, both physically and mentally. Now I'm a warrior leader. I create events and opportunities for other veterans locally. Wounded Warrior Project did a phenomenal job reminding me that my injuries aren't going to define who I am. And because of that, I can do anything that I want.
Look, guys, it's really simple. The reason why I wanted to do this charity event, 22 to none, it's because there are just too many vets taking their lives. Wounded Warrior Project is a charity that's there to help them by giving them the support, by giving them the mental wellness, the physical wellness, the independence program that lets them get back into society with jobs. There's so many things that Wounded Warrior Project does to help vets say, no, I'm going to do this. I am going to stay alive. I am good. There's no reason for me to not be here. I deserve to live. Guys, please, please donate and help save lives.
When I was 18 years old and I joined the military, and I was the hypervigilance, the sense of urgency, that was something I was indoctrinated to all of us through our training. You use it overseas or in a combat environment or even in the military to see things before they happen, necessarily to try and stay ahead of the enemy or the actions or anything that's going on. And when you try and transition that back to being a father or a husband, I turned to alcohol and mixing those with the pills I was taking, and it becomes overwhelming. It becomes a burden. It's like being on your computer and having 1,000 windows open. And every time you close one, another one opens and you can never catch up. And thinking things would be easier without me. And I thought, tonight's the night. Tonight's the night to just end it. The last thing I remember that night is passing out in my wife's lap, and she was playing with my hair. I told her I loved her. And then I fell asleep. By the grace of God, I woke up the next morning, and I finally kind of felt different. I felt renewed. I think me and my wife had a really good talk that night, and I think the biggest thing we recognized was that it's okay to have flaws, and it's okay to not be okay. So while transitioning from the military and having the normal transitional stresses, I started feeling myself slipping back into that dark spot. And then I got a phone call from a former colleague of mine, Nino Gray, who now works for Wounded Warrior Project. And he said that I was eligible for the program and what it was about. And it was probably the time I needed them most in my life, the time I needed somebody. That's who was there, was Wounded Warrior Project. I wanted my whole family to get involved. I wanted them to recognize that I felt like this is an organization that saved my life, and by saving my life, it saved my family. I realized I was more than just that person that went overseas. My life is bigger than that, and I have so much more ahead of me, and that I need to live my life every day honoring those people that didn't get to come home, not just tomorrow, but the next day and every day following that.